Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I'm Miss Barnes, and I'm so excited that you joined me today for our math lesson. You'll notice I'm outside today. You might be wondering about that. Good. Today, our math lesson is going to take place here at this beautiful park at the National World War I Museum and Memorial. Now, if you remember last week, I told you that today we are going to talk about ways that you can do math at home. One of my favorite things to do is to take a walk. We're all stuck inside right now, and one of the best ways that you can stay healthy is to get outside. So today we are going on a math walk. Miss Barnes, what's a math walk? Did you know that you can take any ordinary walk and turn it into a math walk just by stopping along the way and talking about the things that you see around you that have to do with math? Now, I'm going to show you how to do that today, and at the end of the segment, you are going to be challenged to take your own math walk this week. Are you ready to get started? Come along with me. Now, you may still be wondering how to do a math walk or how to go on a math walk. That's okay. Let's stop here and talk about ways that we could use this frame to talk about math. One of the easiest ways we can practice math is by counting the things that we see. Can you count the trees that you see here?
Count the trees with me. Remember, we're only counting the trees in the foreground. That means the ones closest to us. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know there are other trees in the photo, but I only want to count these 4 right now.
Let's keep walking on that same path and see if there are any other trees we could count. Do you see here to the right this patch of trees? As we get closer, can you count them? How many trees do you see here to the right of the path?
Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you say there were 5 trees on the right of the path? If so, you're correct.
Now we just walked that whole stretch of path and we practiced our counting with 2 separate groups of trees. Now I'd like for us to practice our addition skills. Can you tell me how many trees did we count in all?
Remember, the second group of trees we counted had 5 trees in it. And we want to add that to the first group of trees that had 4 trees in it. Do you know what 5 plus 4 equals? Good job, it's 9. So in all, altogether, there were 9 trees that we counted while walking the path.
Let's stop here at the front lawn of the World War I Museum. This lawn is a great space for hanging out, reading a book, and just soaking up some sun. This view of Kansas City is also one of my favorite views. When you're looking at the skyline, can you think of ways to incorporate math? Remember that math isn't just about operations. Math can also be geometry, shapes, and sizes, and colors. We could talk about symmetry. We could talk about curved lines. We could talk about straight lines. There are so many ways. Which way would you like to do? I think when we look at the skyline, one of the easiest things to talk about is shapes. Can you remember all the shapes you know? Remember that shapes come in 2 dimensions, but they also come in 3 dimensions. Do you remember the difference? Remember that a 2-dimensional shape is typically a flat shape. It's one that only has the dimensions of length and width. Three-dimensional shapes are solid objects that you can hold in your hand. Can you think of some examples? Did you come up with a rectangle? A rectangle is the shape I'd like to start with today. How many rectangles can you find in the skyline?
Let's start by remembering what a rectangle looks like. A rectangle is a two-dimensional shape, and it has four sides. You might remember that a rectangle has two pairs of equal sides. So for the rectangle here, you'll see that the vertical sides are short, while the horizontal sides are long. How many rectangles can you find? I see a bunch. Let's find three. The first rectangle I found is in the center of your screen. At that building. The face of that building is rectangular. Can you find any others? I found one there. Do you see the rectangle in the face of the building in the background? The last rectangle I see is Union Station. The front of Union Station is a rectangle too. There are so many other rectangles. Can you find two more? Great job. Let's talk about the next shape. The next shape we're going to talk about is a circle. You might remember that a circle is special because it has no sides. Looking at the skyline, I see one circle, and then I see some objects that are circular. Can you find the circle? There it is. The Western Auto sign is circular. The other two shapes that I see have semicircles. Now, a semicircle is half of one circle. Can you find two buildings that have semicircles in them? The first one is here at Union Station. The windows, the tops of the windows, are circular, but you'll notice that it is not a circle. Is there anything else you can see in the skyline that has a similar shape? There it is at Kauffman Center. The tops of the Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts are circular also. Great job! The last shape we should talk about today is this shape. Do you know what shape that is? The yellow one? You said triangle, great job. And a triangle has three sides. Triangles are going to be pretty hard to find in the skyline. And I really only see one for sure. Can you find it? There it is. Did you guess the top of Union Station? Great job on our shape hunt today.
Walk here at the World War I Museum in Penn Valley Park. There's this really awesome staircase right near the front of the museum. Can you think of ways that we can use this to talk about math? One of the ways I think we could use it to help us is by grouping the steps together in order to practice skip counting. Do you want to try it?
Let's start by counting the stairs in the bottom half of the staircase. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 stairs in the bottom half of the staircase. Now let's practice skip counting. Do you know how to skip count? What's the easiest number you know how to skip count by? You said 2, you're correct. We are going to practice skip counting by 2s next. In order to do this, we have to count 2 stairs at a time. So the first number we start with is 2. Continuing, we'll skip count by 2s, and the next number is 4. 6. And then 8. And that is how you skip count by 2s. Great job.
Well, we're back to where we started, right here in front of the memorial. Can you remember all the ways that we did math today without using anything from school? Do you remember how we counted the trees over by the baseball fields? And we looked at shapes in the skyline right here in Kansas City. Do you remember using those steps to skip count? The good thing is that you don't need to be at school in order to do math every single day. Get outside, take a walk, count things that you see, find shapes in buildings and in landscape. Help your parents do addition or subtraction, maybe even buy something from the store. Whatever you do, make sure that every day you're trying to practice your math skills for at least 15 minutes. That doesn't have to be solving a math problem with a piece of paper, and I hope that our lesson today has proved that to you. Remember, at the start of our segment today, I told you that your challenge was to get outside. So this week, I'd like you to take your own math walk, and remember to look for those things, numbers, shapes, colors, and find ways that you can do math every day right in your neighborhood too. Next week, we are going to start looking at some place value. I know we talked about it before, but this time we're really going to dig in and talk about how numbers work and what they mean. I can't wait to see you then, and I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. See you next week.
Kindergarten is great at Kansas City Public Schools.
I know they have really good teachers. I know this is great school.
They teach them stuff that I thought my kids would never be able to know at the age of 5.
Since deciding to send our kiddos to a neighborhood school, we've become even more of a part of our community.
Now is the time to enroll your future kindergartner for the new school year. Visit enrollkc.org today.
The desire to create lives within each of us. From Grammy-winning producers and musicians, to NBA stars, to Navy admirals and Medal of Honor recipients, to internationally renowned artists, and beloved local muralists, Paseo graduates have been creating their own success, their own history, their own legacy since 1926. Now it's your time. Create your future at Paseo Academy of Fine and Performing Arts. Learn more at enrollkc.org/Paseo.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Ravindran here for Lesson 4 for Math 8. Let's go ahead and begin. Today's learning target, I can write equations in slope-intercept form to compare different options. Go ahead and pause the video to copy that down. All right, excellent. Now that you've copied that down, let's get started. Today we're going to be discussing the slope-intercept form equation of y equals mx plus b. This is one of the most important equations in 8th grade math and Algebra 1. We're going to start by breaking down the individual letters y, m, x, and b. We'll start with x. X is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable. These variables represent two things which are related. Two things in a word problem that connect to each other. One is the independent variable, meaning it changes the other. the independent variable causes the dependent variable to change. And the way it causes it to change is by using m, the slope. The slope is the rate of change. It expresses the relationship between x and y. Basically, the slope, the rate of change, connects x to y. Finally, b, the y-intercept. This is the starting value. This is the startup fee or the setup cost. So at this time, pause the video and copy down everything you see on this slide. Excellent. Now that you've copied all that down, let's move on. Today we're going to be looking at two examples. Here's the first one. The student government at your school is making hoodies with the school's logo and selling them for a fundraiser. There are two local competitors. Use the information from the ads to answer the question. The first ad is Sweet Sweatshirts. They charge you just $25 for each hoodie. The second ad is Big Baller Hoodies. They charge you $15 per hoodie, plus a one-time setup fee of $75. So we have two different companies. One charges $25, one charges $15. One has a setup fee of $75. One has a no setup fee at all. So let's get into it by looking first at Big Baller Hoodies. Write an equation for both companies. If the student government was able to sell 50 hoodies, which company would offer a cheaper price? So let's start by looking at Big Baller. First thing we have to recognize is that the independent variable is the number of hoodies. More hoodies means more price. The hoodies directly influence the price that we would pay. So X is the hoodies, which is the independent variable, and Y is the price, which is the dependent variable. M will be the cost per hoodie. M is the unit rate, which in this case is $15. So we'll just put a 15 right here. B is the starting value, the starting fee. How much does Big Baller Hoodies charge you just to start making hoodies? Before you even pay for one, how much do they charge? They charge you $75 setup fee. We now have enough information to write our equation. But before we write our equation, let's diagram it. The price, which is Y, is equal to $15 per X, which is hoodie, which means multiply $15 times the number of hoodies, plus a $75 setup fee. Well, we can turn that into an equation. Instead of the word price, we can use the letter Y. Y is equal to 15 per hoodie. Instead of the word hoodie, we can use the letter X plus $75. This is the equation which represents Big Baller Hoodies. The next part says, how much would 50 hoodies cost? Well, we can show that X is 50. That's a number of hoodies. If we were to buy 50 hoodies, how much would it cost? Well, we're going to take out the letter X and put in the number 50. Let's take a look at what this means. Y, which is the price, is equal to $15 times 50 hoodies plus the $75 setup fee. Well, 15 times 50 is 750. I just multiplied 15 times 50. Drop down the plus 75. Now I'm going to add. Y is equal to $825. So what does that tell us? That tells us that for 50 hoodies, the price is $825. So what we did was create a linear equation in the form y equals mx plus b, a slope-intercept form equation, where the price is equal to $15 times the number of hoodies plus $75. So $825 is our first answer. Now let's take a look at the next company, Sweet Sweatshirts. Sweet Sweatshirts charges $25 for each hoodie. So X again will be our independent variable, the number of hoodies, and Y is the price in dollars. M is the cost per hoodie. Well, how much are they charging per hoodie? $25. So we'll put that down right here. B, the y-intercept, the starting value. Do they have a startup fee? Do they have a one-time fee? No. The advertisement only says $25 for each hoodie. They have no starting fee. They have a $0 starting fee. So we can now make our equation. The price is equal to $25 per hoodie plus a $0 setup fee or startup fee. This is a proportional equation. Y equals kx. So we can now solve, we can write this as an equation. Y, instead of price, is equal to 25x. The word price represents Y, and X represents hoodies. Now let's talk about the price for 50 hoodies. That's going to go in place of X. Y is equal to 25 times 50. If you use a calculator or do it on paper, 25 times 50 is 1,250. What does that mean? That means that 50 hoodies costs $1,250. So, who's cheaper? Big Baller charges $8.25. Sweet Sweatshirts charges $12.50. So we should write Big Baller hoodies is cheaper. Great. The next and final task is to talk about a new company, Fresh Hoodies. A third company, Fresh Hoodies, is going to sell hoodies in your area. This company doesn't want to be the cheapest or the most expensive company. They want their hoodies to be priced in between their competitors. How could the poster for Fresh Hoodies be completed to meet your criteria? Explain your reasoning. How much would 50 hoodies cost with this company? So again, Y is the cash, the price, X is the hoodies, M is the cost per hoodie, and B is the setup fee. Again, they want to be between the two. So Sweet Sweatshirts was charging $25 per hoodie. Big Baller was charging $15 per hoodie. Why don't we go right in between 25 and 15 and say that the cost per hoodie at Fresh Hoodies is $20 per hoodie? Sweet Sweatshirt had a $0 setup fee. Big Baller Hoodies had a $75 setup fee. So, what is the setup fee that we should use? Well, you can choose any one that you want. I'm going to go with, let's say they charge a $60 setup fee. $60 setup fee. Now we can make the equation. Y is equal to $20 times the number of hoodies we buy plus $60. So this equation represents this new company. This equation represents Fresh Hoodies. Now let's finish the problem. How much would 50 hoodies cost with this company? Y equals 20 times 50 plus 60. $20 is the cost per hoodie. 50 is the number of hoodies. When we solve it, we'll get Y equals something. Y equals the price. First, we multiply. 20 times 50 is 1,000. Plus the $60 setup fee. So when we solve that, oh, whoops. Sorry about that, guys. Went to the wrong slide there. Still on the wrong slide. That's my mistake. All fixed now. We just shrink that down so it fits on our slide. There we go. My mistake. Sorry about that. 1,000 plus 60 is 1,060. So with Fresh Hoodies, 50 hoodies costs $1,060. Fresh Hoodies is more expensive than Big Baller hoodies and less expensive than Sweet Sweatshirts. That concludes today's lesson. Make sure you complete task 4, which your teacher will set for you on Google Classroom. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Southeast because of the culture, the band program, and restorative justice.
I love Southeast because of the academics, sports, and students.
I love Southeast because of the people, the energy, and the advanced classes.
It's not alike. I love Southeast because the students here at Southeast are full of potential and they believe in achieving anything. We are Southeast. Southeast. We stand shoulder to shoulder.
Join the Southeast family. Enroll today.
I chose manual because it's challenging and fun and it can help me with college.
I chose manual because I wanted to get a jump start in my career with culinary arts.
I chose manual to acquire skills I'd use in real life.
I chose manual because I want to be an ER doctor and be an EMT is my first step.
Kickstart your future today at Manual Career and Technical Center. Manual is open for all 11th and 12th grade students in both Kansas and Missouri. Learn more today at enrollkc.org/manual or call 816-418-5200.
Welcome, and today is Monday Math, Middle School Math, and we're going to be continuing our four-part segment on surface area. Today we're going to be talking about Best Buy, and before we continue with Best Buy, I want to talk about what we did in section 1, which is area. Surface area. Remember when we talked about surface area, we talked about two geometric shapes. We talked about the rectangle and the square. And the algorithm for the rectangle is going to be length times width. And remember, community property says length and width does not always have to be the longest or shortest side. It depends on how your object is switched or turned or rotated. So if we draw some rows, so we have 4 rows here, and we'll call that our length. And then we have our columns. Sorry for the unequal, but you know how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll call that our width. And remember, when you find area, you're going to multiply your 4 times 6. So our area is 24 units squared. So it's how much space is that area going to take up. Our second geometric shape is your square. And remember, square is a type of rectangle, except it has a specific property that all the sides are going to be the same. So you could again say this is length times width, but most of the time you're going to say, because they're the same length, you're going to use the same letter. So I'm just going to cross those out, and I'm going to put side. Because S stands for the same unit or the same length, we're just going to write that. So I can come down here and I can say area equals side times side. Well, I can shorten that even further by using a power. And I can say area equals side squared. Now if I go ahead and start putting our rows and columns, we'll do 4 each way. And I substitute that letter S with our measurement 4. I can come down here in our algorithm. I can say 4 squared, or I can say 4 times 4, and that's going to be 16. And so that's 16 units squared. That's what we learned from our section 1. There's one other thing we learned in section 1, and this is probably the most missed concept that I see in middle schoolers. And when you answer this question on a test, it usually has to do with a pool and the sidewalk going around, or some type of garden and you have a pathway. And so let me just draw that for you. Let me make that a little bit better. And the last time I saw this was with a pool. And you had your pool on the inside. And the pool was a square. And the question asked, how much concrete space was around the pool? Well, what you would have to do is find the area of the complete shape and then subtract the area of the pool to find your amount of concrete. So that's the one thing that when you're looking at this type of question, I want you to consider, okay, what is it asking me? What are the 2 steps I need to find? This is the most common question for surface area. Let me go back to our slide presentation. So let's talk about section 2 for today. Determine best buy. And what I've done is I've gotten 2 examples for you of 2 products. We're going to continue our house remodeling. And I've selected 2 types of flooring. Now, sometimes you're going to want to know exactly which one should I choose based on the price. If you like both of them and you cannot decide, cost is going to decide for you. So in hardwood flooring number 1, it's sold by the carton. And a carton is going to be $135. And that one carton is only going to cover 30 square feet. Now, 30 square feet is not a big space. You're going to need lots more flooring. And at $135 a carton, you're not going to want to spend more than what you absolutely need. So hardwood flooring number 2 is also sold by the carton. It's $110. And it covers 20 square feet. Well, at first looking at this, I can tell the difference. I have 30 square feet compared to 20 square feet. You know, common sense tells you, okay, it's going to cost me more money because I'm getting more square footage. But really, which one is the best deal? So we have to determine which one is going to give us the best value. And to do that, there's a couple of different ways. Let me go back to annotating for you. And we'll just delete our last one. And so let's say we have flooring number 1. They're both sold by the carton, so I really don't need that information written down. But I do need the information that it's going to cost me $135, and that's going to give me 30 square feet. And the second flooring is going to cost me $110, and it's only going to give me 20 square feet. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I want to show you how you can reason this out before I show you how to do unit rate, because sometimes you can get to your answer faster without taking it all the way down to a single unit. Now, if you notice, both of our square footage are in units of 10. We have 30, we have 10, or 20, sorry. Now, if I take this and I separate this, it doesn't look very good, so let's try that again. Into 3 sections of 10 square feet. And I take this one and separate it into 2 sections of 10 square feet. I can take my cost And I can separate it also out into those 3 sections and get how much it is per 10 square feet. And when I do that, and I already have this figured out for you, it's going to be $45. Okay. Now I'm going to erase that because it's in the way of my graphics. So this is going to be 45. This is going to be 45. And this is going to be 45. So I can really say for every 10 square footage or every 10 square feet, it's going to cost me $45. Now if I come over here and do this with flooring number 2, let's change and put that back to black. And I separate that just like I did flooring number 1 into 2 sections. That gives me $55. So when I come down here to compare, and I'll change colors so you can see a little better, 10 square foot of flooring number 2 is going to cost me $55. So just based on 10 square feet, this one's going to be my better buy, even though I have to purchase it in bigger bundles. Well, what if I couldn't do that? That's a little awkward. Maybe we need to take it all the way down to unit rate. How do we do that? So let me erase my work here. And I need to take this all the way down to 1 square foot. How do I do that? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your cost and you're going to divide it by the number of square feet. So if you're using a calculator, you're going to put it into your calculator looking like this. If you're doing it by hand, now this is something that I've noticed a lot of students do. They reverse the way they need to do their division, and they actually put their divisor inside their division sign instead of on the outside. So 135 divided by 30. And I've already done that math for you. So when you take your division problem, that's going to give you $4.50. So we can say that the unit price of flooring number 1 is going to be $4.50 per square foot. Now if we come over here to flooring number 2, we're going to do the same process. So if you're using a calculator, you're going to type it in 110 divided by 30, or I'm sorry, 20 for flooring number 2. And that's going to give you your unit rate. If you're doing it by hand, remember to set it up like this. Your 20 is going to be your divisor. It's going to go on the outside. I've already done the math for you. You can check me using a calculator if you want. But it's $5.50 per square foot. Okay? So we can say the unit price of flooring number 2 is $5.50 per square foot. Now, when you're comparing $4.50 and $5.50, we know that $4.50 is less. So this is going to be our best buy because it's $1 cheaper per square foot. That's how you determine best buy of flooring we're going to do it again. This time we're going to use carpet tile. Carpet tile is a hot new item out there. Some of you may have seen it. I personally have seen it in office spaces. And it's really kind of a cool thing because it comes in the same type bundles as the hardwood floor, and it gives you good practice of finding Best Buy using unit rate, or you can kind of use some other strategies to figure out which one is the Best Buy. So let's go back. Let's go back to our PowerPoint and talk about carpet tile. Now, carpet tile is a new thing to me. Some of you may have seen it. This is personally my first experience with it. But I picked out 2 tiles for us to look at. They both come in cartons, but I want you to notice a couple of things. The first tile only comes in 24-inch by 24-inch sections. Carpet tile number 2 comes in the shape of a 12-inch by 24-inch rectangle. They both come in cartons. The first one is $200 a carton. The second one is $80 a carton. But notice the square footage. There's a big difference. You're going to need a lot more of carpet tile number 2, the cartons, versus carpet tile number 1. Because carpet tile number 1 gives you 40 square feet, while carpet tile number 2 gives you 20. So let's go back and to the whiteboard and take a look and compare those. So we have tile number 1, and then we're comparing tile number 2. So some things about tile number 1 that you need to keep in mind. We have 24 inches by 24 inches compared to 12 inches by 24. There's a big difference in cost. This particular carpet tile comes at a price of $200 per container, and it only covers 40 square feet. While as tile number 2 is $80 per container, but it only covers 20 square feet. Now, if we don't want to actually go all the way down to unit rate, because there's an easier way to do that, it's always better to do that easier way. Now, if you notice some things about our numbers, especially the square footage, hopefully you're saying in your head that, hey, I can divide 40 by 2 and get the same amount of square footage I have in tile box number 2. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and divide by 2. So that gives us 20 square feet. If we divide the square footage by 2, we also have to divide the cost by 2. And when we divide 200 by 2, it gives us $100. So right here, we actually don't have to go all the way down to unit rate, because we can get the same amount of footage or the same units and then compare the price. So comparing 180, this one is going to be my better buy. But what if somebody says, prove it to me using unit rate? I can do that too. And I can do that by taking it all the way down to each square foot. And so let's change colors. Let's just go back to black. So I can come over here, and I'm just going to do 200 divided by 40. Now, if I think a minute, okay, how many times will 40 go into 200? Well, I know 20 will go into 100 twice, or no, I'm sorry, 5 times. So that means 40 is going to go into 200 10 times. That's not right. We're going to have to stop there, Jonathan, because I did some bad math.
Okay, here we go. It's alright. Just start once again. You have the 200 there. You got it?
No.
40 divided by 200.
I got it. It's
2.5.
Oh my goodness. I'm having one of those. Give me a couple seconds.
It's alright.
Oh my lordy. Okay.
Actually, 5.
It's 5.
Yeah. By 100 is 2.5. By 200
Yeah.
is 5.
My reasoning was good, but I shouldn't have doubled my number.
Yeah. Okay. You can start right there, pointing out where you were. I'll go back to it. Okay. Here we go.
You'll make me look awesome.
Yeah. All right. We go 3, 2.
So if you look at 200 divided by 40, that's going to go 5 times. So my unit price is going to be $5 per square foot. So if I come over here and look at this one, so I'm going to do 80 divided by 20. So how many times does 20 go into 80? That's going to be 4. So my cost per unit, that doesn't look good. So my cost per unit is going to be $4 per square foot. So this again verifies that tile number 2 is going to be the better value at $4 because $4 is $1 less than 5. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint. And awesome. Let's talk about how much of the particular best buys of the floor and carpet we need. So if you notice, this is the room I picked out. It's a 12 by 15 room. It's got 2 doors. The doors are going to be 9 feet by, I believe it's 3 feet 6 inches. And we have 2 sets of windows. Now, before we continue to figure out how much of our best buys we need to figure out what our flooring dimensions actually is or are. We've determined the best buy for the hardwood floor and for the carpet tile. Now let's take a look at our best buys and determine how much of each we need. And maybe that will help us decide, do we want to use the hardwood floor or do we want to use the carpet tile? So if I'm remembering correctly, and I'll call the hardwood floor flooring, we had flooring number 1 as our best buy. And it was $135 a carton. But what I'm really concerned about right now is that it covers 30 square foot or 30 square feet per carton. How many cartons is it going to take us to cover our room? Now, remember our room is our rectangle, and it's going to have 180 square feet. So we're going to have to figure out how many of those cartons we're going to have to purchase. Now, something that you need to remember, if it ends up in a decimal, which it normally is going to do, you're going to have to round up. And a couple of things, if you're using this for an actual flooring project, is that number 1, you want to make sure you have enough because these are made in batches and each batch has a little bit different stain, maybe a little bit different finishing on it. You want the same look. And number 2, if you mess up, you've got some extra, okay? You don't want to run short. So I'm going to take these 2 numbers and I'm going to divide them. So if I'm using a calculator, I'm going to do 180 divided by 30. If I'm doing it by hand, remember my divisor goes on the outside. So I'm going to say 180 divided by 30 written like this. Now I've already done the math and it comes out nice and even. You need 6, okay? So we need to purchase 6 cartons. Now let's come over and do the tile. And tile number 2 was our best buy. And tile number 2 was $80 per carton. But the thing with that was you only got 20 square feet in each carton. So we're going to do the same process as we did over here. We're going to divide. We're going to take our cost. We're going to divide it by 30. That's how you're going to write it in or type it into the calculator. If you're doing it by hand, you're going to say 80 divided by 20. And if you notice, this again is going to go in very nicely. And I screwed up because that should have been.
All right.
Yep.
Start again.
Can we start from this point?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. 3, 2.
So let's talk about our carpet tile. And we chose carpet tile number 2. Now some things we need to know about our carpet tile is we have $80 per carton and it only covers 20 square feet. So we're going to do the same thing as we did over here. We're going to take the amount that we need. We're going to divide it by the quantity that is in each carton. So we're going to say 180 divided by 20. If you're doing it by hand, it's going to look like this. 180 divided by 20. And that's going to give us 9. So for our carpet tile, we need 9 cartons, while our hardwood floors, we only need 6. Now we're going to talk about, okay, we need to figure out how much each of these are going to cost. So let's change colors. Let's use blue. I need 6 cartons at 135. I need 9 cartons at 90. So if I come back over here and I need 135 at 6 for 6 cartons, I've already done the math for you. That's $810. If I take a look at carpet tile number 2, it's 80 times 9 cartons, and that's going to be 720. So if I'm having price be my deciding factor, if I'm going to use carpet or hardwood floors, I'm going to have to decide to go with the carpet tiles because it's about $90 less expensive than the hardwood floor. That's how you determine best buy. You can use some strategies, or you can take it all the way down to square foot or unit rate. But remember, you need to make sure you find the amount of surface area you need before you do that. That's all for segment 2. Segment 3 is coming up, and I'll see you next time.
Kindergarten is great at Kansas City Public Schools.
I know they have really good teachers. I know this is a great school.
They teach them stuff that I thought my kids would never be able to know at the age of 5.
Since deciding to send our kiddos to a neighborhood school, we've become even more of a part of our community.
Now is the time to enroll your future kindergartner for the new school year. Visit enrollkc.org today.
I love Southeast because of the culture, the band program, and restorative justice.
I love Southeast because of the academics, sports, and students.
I love Southeast because of the people, the energy, and the advanced classes.
It's not alike. I love Southeast because the students here at Southeast are full of potential and they believe in achieving anything. We are Southeast. We stand shoulder to shoulder.
Join the Southeast family. Enroll today.
The desire to create lives within each of us. From Grammy-winning producers and musicians, to NBA stars, to Navy admirals and Medal of Honor recipients, to internationally renowned artists, and beloved local muralists, Paseo graduates have been creating their own success, their own history, their own legacy since 1926. Now it's your time. Create your future at Paseo Academy of Fine and Performing Arts. Learn more at enrollkc.org/Paseo.
I chose manual because it's challenging and fun, and it can help me with college.
I chose manual because I wanted to get a jump start in my career with culinary arts.
I chose manual to acquire skills I'd use in real life.
I chose manual because I want to be an ER doctor, and being an EMT is my first step.
Kickstart your future today at Manual Career and Technical Center. Manual is open for all 11th and 12th grade students in both Kansas and Missouri. Learn more today at enrollkc.org/manual or call 816-418-5200.